It took 5 weeks for Catherine's foot to heal. It was Christmas time by the time she returned to Wuthering Heights. While Catherine was at Thrushcross Grange, Frances went there often to change Catherine through flattery and nice clothes. I guess she was trying to turn Catherine into Frances. Catherine seemed receptive to this manipulation, though. When Catherine came home, she was dressed the way a young girl of her age and status would have been expected to dress. She was also more restrained in her behavior. The wild child was gone, and the young lady was here. After appropriate greetings to everyone, Catherine looked around for Heathcliff. Hindley and Frances were, no doubt, anxious. They were hoping that the work they had done over the last 5 weeks was successful in driving a wedge between their friendship. While Catherine was being doted on and cared for, Heathcliff had been neglected more than ever. Nellie was the only one who told him to bathe, once a week, of course. And his clothes didn't get washed, I think, the whole time. Heathcliff was probably hiding because Hindley promised to kick him out if he dared to speak to Catherine. But Hindley told Heathcliff that he could come and welcome her back as the other servants did. The message, of course, was, you'd better keep your interaction to the bare minimum. When Heathcliff appeared, Catherine ran to him and gave him several kisses, but Heathcliff didn't return the exuberant greeting. Catherine looked him over and compared his appearance to Isabella's and Edgar's. Heathcliff was, not surprisingly, offended by her description of him. He refused to shake her hand as Hindley instructed and declared he liked to be dirty and he was going to stay that way, and then he left. Hindley and Frances were pleased by this spectacle. Catherine, though, was confused by Heathcliff's behavior. The Lintons were invited to dinner the following evening, and they accepted, as long as Heathcliff would not be there. After tidying up before supper, Nellie tried to get Heathcliff to bathe and change his clothes, so he could sit and visit with Catherine before supper. But he ignored her. Instead, he worked late that evening and went to bed without supper. The next day, he left early and went to the moors, where he stayed until the family left for church. Then he came back and hung out with Nellie in the kitchen for a while, eventually asking her to help clean him up and declared he was going to be good. Oh, that's so sad. I think they've broken his spirit. Nellie told him that he hurt Catherine with his rejection and made her cry. He told her he cried as well and that he had more reason to cry. Nellie tells him she'll help him get dressed and help him look more handsome than Edgar Linton. Heathcliff says he wishes he had fair skin and hair and as rich as Edgar will be someday. Aw, he's jealous. He wants to be like Edgar. Probably so Catherine likes him again, and maybe so people will be a little bit nicer to him. Nellie tries to make him feel better, and she gives him advice on how to change the way he thinks. He's starting to feel better and ready to join the party, hoping to make Catherine happy. As he started to leave the kitchen, Hindley came in, saw him, and forcefully pushed him away. Hindley won't let him be with the other kids. Edgar insults his hair, and Heathcliff throws a pot of hot applesauce in his face. Hindley banishes Heathcliff to his room for the rest of the night and flogs him before returning to everyone else. Catherine is upset because she thinks Hindley and Edgar are being mean to Heathcliff. She admonishes Edgar that he should not have ever talked to Heathcliff. Edgar asserts he didn't talk to Heathcliff. Okay, so we're splitting hairs. Talking about him in front of him is, I guess, technically not talking to him. At dinner, Catherine struggles between making it look like she's okay and having a good time and the sadness of what happened to Heathcliff. Some music starts to play, and Catherine claims she will listen to it upstairs, but that's just a ruse to talk to Heathcliff. Nellie goes up the stairs with her because she knows what Catherine is up to, and she lets the kids talk until she thinks the music is going to end and that people are going to start to wonder where Catherine is. At that point, she goes to get Catherine and discovers that Catherine had climbed onto the roof and then into Heathcliff's room. She insisted Catherine come back, but Heathcliff came with her, and Catherine insisted Nellie take Heathcliff to the kitchen to help her. Nellie insisted she would not encourage their antics, but since Heathcliff hadn't eaten, she was okay with bringing him to the kitchen to give him some food. Yeah, sure, she's not encouraging their antics. In the kitchen, Heathcliff didn't eat. He just sat with his elbows on his knees and chin in his hands. Nellie thinks he couldn't eat because he was sick. Nellie asked Heathcliff what he was thinking, and Heathcliff said he was planning how he would get back at Hindley. He says he hoped Hindley wouldn't die before he did. Nellie didn't like what he said, but he told her to leave him alone and that he didn't feel pain as long as he was thinking like this. No, don't stop, Nellie. She stopped telling the story to Lockwood because she thought he was getting bored and it was time for bed. Oh my gosh, what is she thinking? Lockwood insisted she continue, and eventually she agreed, but she wanted to jump 3 years ahead. No, insisted Lockwood. She had to tell the story just as she was. She thought she was telling the story in true gossip's fashion, and she didn't think that was a good idea. But after some begging from Lockwood, and I'm sure from us, she agreed to continue telling the story, but she insisted to jump ahead to next summer. And then that's the end of the chapter. We have to wait till the next chapter to find out anything else. Thanks so much for watching and listening. If you like this video or like what I do, be sure to subscribe for more videos.